Essentially, mind map is a tool which is multifaceted. It helps you to build ideas, it helps you to plan things, it helps you to communicate better, it helps you to critically think things, and that is where one tool can really help children into multiple ways. Hi, this is Sushil Mungekar. In last 20 years of my career, working as a professional in corporates or working as an entrepreneur on my own startups, and then again coming back into the education system and working on nurturing entrepreneurial mindset among children, I realized one thing, that our current education system needs a definite, immediate and a constructive change. This channel is mere an opportunity to connect a parent in me with a parent in you. Most of us would agree that whatever we learned during our education system, we rarely use that in our professional careers. On the other hand, whatever we do in our professional careers, we have rarely learned that in our education system in a formal way. So this gap needs to be bridged. There are so many tools that we use during our professions which we feel, oh fish, I would have learned this kind of tools when I was a child itself, it could have been far better. That was the eureka when I really thought that can we pick up some of those tools and bring it back to students so that they start preparing themselves, their mindset well in advance, so that this can help them to be successful in any career that they take. That's the genesis of this masterclass. Welcome back to the 8th episode of my masterclass on 12 essential tools we must teach our children before they finish their schoolings. Remember our stated position, we said that if we want our children to create value for themselves, the best way to create the value is to create value for others, and that is how they can really enjoy the benefits of creating value. In our last 7 episodes, we have seen multiple tools that can really transform their life if they can really start using that from early age. So if you have missed on any of those tools, go to the link below and catch up with all those tools. Today's session, we are going to talk about another interesting, simple but yet very powerful tool which we must teach our students. So let's go. So just as usual, we are going to break this video also into 4 sections. We are going to contextualize first, then we are going to talk about the suspense tool, then we are going to look at how this tool can be effectively used for children, and in the last section we'll look at what are the benefits of teaching this tool as early as possible to children. So let's begin. Many a times when we talk about creative thinking or ideation, we look at unstructured way of thinking because creativity requires that kind of a openness and that kind of a uncharted territory. Having said that, many a times we also face a challenge where we go on an unstructured path and don't get a chance to conclude many of those things. So if we get any kind of a tool which can really bring method to the madness or bring structuredness to the entire unstructured thinking, how wonderful that would be. And that's where mind map makes a difference. Let me elaborate that with an example. With all the cafes around, let's say we come up with an idea that we want to set up our own cafe. Moment we say that, our mind starts running into multiple directions. What kind of coffee flavors we should have, what kind of sitting we should have, what kind of ambience we should have, what kind of customer base that we are going to talk about, how we are going to advertise, so on and so forth. In this entire process, our mind jumps from one to another without giving a full justice to any of those topics. And that's where mind map makes a difference. Mind map really helps you to bring that discipline. That moment we are talking about a coffee shop and we are talking about coffee flavor, let's start drilling down in terms of only coffee flavors, and then expand that entire area in terms of what kind of flavors you want, what kind of additional eatables that you want along with the coffee, what kind of milk you should have, sugar and all those additions. So this is really taking you to multiple flavors. Moment we start shifting to sitting arrangement or an ambience, then we only start talking about what kind of table chair arrangement should we have, what kind of wall, aesthetics, so on and so forth. So it really helps you to drill down only that. When we think of aesthetics, don't think of coffee. And when you think of coffee, don't think of aesthetics. So it really helps you to drill down into one particular section. And in that sense, it really helps you to structure your entire thinking. So that actually adds beauty to entire creative thinking, and mind map really can make that kind of a difference. Mind map was first introduced by Tony Buzan in 1970s. He was an education consultant. He was the first one to find out that rather than taking notes one below the other in a most rudimentary way, can we actually make it more pictorial, where we start breaking that into some kind of a mind map where you write the basic idea at the center and then all the peripheries of that into the circular diagram, and within that if you have additional ideas, keep expanding that so it really becomes like a root cause kind of a diagram, and that is where you start expanding into lot of unstructured thinking. Especially for kids, take example of a simple birthday planning of a child. Moment we talk about birthday planning, we start thinking from a cake to how many people we are going to invite, to what kind of theme we are going to have, to music, to DJ and stuff like that. Again, in that, when you're planning the birthday party, start breaking that. Once we talk about cake, let's see what kind of cake you need, what kind of candles you need, how many candles you need. You need a cutter and stuff like that. Should it be vegetarian? Should it be veg and stuff like that? Moment you start talking about food, then it also helps you to jump in terms of who all are coming, how many of them are veg, non-veg and stuff like that. So it really helps you to plan the thing far better. If you just think in a unstructured manner, probably you'll be able to come up with 15-20 things in a random manner. But moment you start using mind map, you can plan the entire birthday party to the T. So not only from a creative thinking, even from a planning perspective, children can really use that effectively. Mind map using is fairly simple for children. They can just take a piece of paper and start pictorially drawing mind maps in form of a root diagram. Take simple examples and start building that. And then as they go along, they can get into the third tier and the fourth tier and the fifth tier. And that is where their ability to build mind map will become far better. Once they build this kind of an ability, then any kind of a problem that they face, any kind of creative solution that they need to come, anything that they need to plan, all that can be done on a simple just 1 page or a 2-pager mind map. And that's the beauty of entire mind map. Let's understand what are the benefits of teaching mind map early to children. Number one, first of all, it's a great fun tool. So children start using diagrams or pictorial representation of all the stuff, all the things that they learn. And in that sense, they really start enjoying that and they get connected to that. Number two, it has a great recall value because pictures always have a far better recall value than words. They start placing things in their mind that they have seen somewhere, and that is where their memory, their recall, their understanding of the subjects become fairly easy. Number three, critical thinking. It enhances critical thinking of a child because now they get into the compartment, they start pushing their thinking more and more because they are completely into the zone of thinking about it. So that is where their critical thinking skills enhances. Number four, it actually also improves the creative thinking. We saw how beautiful mind maps can be used for creative thinking. Essentially, mind map is a creative thinking tool because that helps you to build structure to the unstructured thinking. Number five, it's a great communication and a presentation tool. Anything that you want to present, instead of presenting something in a form of an essay, if you just draw a mind map with multiple colors and depict the entire picture into that, then the presentation can be really appreciated by people. Using mind map as a presentation tool, if you can teach children early in life, they can really use that for the rest of their life. And number six, they can really use mind map for planning. We saw how this can be effectively used for birthday planning. Any planning that they want to do in life, this way they can get to the minutest detail of planning and they can become far better planner. So essentially, mind map is a tool which is multifaceted. It helps you to build ideas, it helps you to plan things, it helps you to communicate better, it helps you to critically think things, and that is where one tool can really help children into multiple ways. So therefore, it is extremely essential to expose children to mind map if you have already not done. So in this section, let me summarize what all we have discussed. Number one is any tool which gives a structuredness to the unstructured thinking of creativeness, then that can really help, and mind map exactly does that. Number two, we saw how effectively mind maps can be used in planning or creative thinking, and that actually helps children to go to the greater detail. Number three, mind map essentially is a multifaceted tool because it helps you in planning, in creative thinking, in ideation, in critical thinking, in terms of communication and representation and presentation skills. So in that sense, mind map can help children in multiple ways. So if you like this tool, start implementing this with children. Start simple and then let them understand the magic of using mind maps. If you like this tool, please like, subscribe and forward this to your friends so that they also get the benefit of this. And next time when we are going to meet, we are going to look at, in the 9th episode, another interesting tool which will really help our children before they get into the future. So stay tuned.